Thank you for staying with us. This week, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT News On Wike, accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara for disorganizing the political structure that produced him as Rivers State Governor within 3 months in disobedience to President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. The minister stated that he would not allow anybody to crumble the political structure. Now, joining me to discuss this is Marvin Yobana. He's a political affairs analyst and Africa's representative of World Assembly for Youth. Of course, he's joining me from Abuja. Mr. Marvin Yobana, good evening and good to have you on the show today.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Now, I can't stand ingrates. Give a man power and money, then you will know the person. These were words of Nyesom Wike on the rift with Fubara. Now, weighing in on this, what's your standpoint actually?
Well, that saying is very popular among the elites. For we, the common men, we've not been given power and money, so we'll not be able to say exactly if that saying is true. But that's on a lighter note. The issues are letting the political space in Rivers State today, like we know, it's a matter that we could address as a family affair. Family affair in the sense that we are all in the same political group. We in Rivers State, including the governor and our leader, the minister for FCT, we all believe in the Asiwaju restoring renewal hope agenda. And we in Rivers State, as PDP, we came out all out to support the Asiwaju ticket. The reason was very clear, because we said it is injustice for the North to do 8 years and it will not go to the South. But after the inauguration on May 29th, the politics is over. What we are facing now is governance. So a lot of people have been trying to fuel the crisis by insinuating things that are not there. There was a very minor disagreement among members of the Legislative House of Assembly in Rivers State, and which led to suspension of some members, so one other faction suspending the other members, and 2 different factions laying claim to the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And as leaders, the governor of the state is the political leader of the state. The minister for FCT is our national leader here in Abuja. So what we expected from both leaders was to weigh into that differences among the legislators. But it led to a tipping point where some members of the House of Assembly moved for impeachment of the governor. And you know, this is a governor that just barely had mandate for less than 6 months. So the people of Rivers State did not agree to that. I said, what did this governor do? We want to know. And that's why you saw people came out to support the governor. It's not like there's any issue between the minister of FCT and the governor of Rivers State. But people took advantage of that and started blowing it out of proportion. Like we all know Fubara. Fubara is a very humble, loyal, and committed party man. He is very respectful to elders. And since the president told them to go back and work together, Fubara has not made any derogatory statement against the Honorable Minister of FCT. Neither has the Honorable Minister made any derogatory statement against the governor. But you know, I know that rumor mongers and those who feast from crisis are trying to overheat the polity in Rivers State. But I want to say something, and I want to say it here very clear. Whatever interview that the Federal Minister for FCT granted yesterday, he was talking out of grievances, out of the information he got from people. But between him and Sim Fubara, I don't think there's much rift between them. Because if there's a rift, all those people who were appointed into the State Executive Council are still working with the governor today. The local government chairmen that don't even respect the governor, they are still in their offices. Sim Fubara has not moved against any of them because he knows this structure is just one structure. And he is not there to defy the structure or take a structure from anybody. But I think that because of the dominion of the governor, where he is very gentle, unassuming, quiet, a lot of people are taking him for granted, and which is not good. He is, for Christ's sake, he is the chief security officer of the state. He is the executive governor of the state. At least that office should be respected, no matter his age. So I want to appeal to our leaders, both of them, both the federal minister for the Federal Capital Territory and the governor, to overlook rumor mongers and troublemakers, to focus on the act of governance. Wike is doing a wonderful job in Abuja. Fubara is doing a wonderful job. For the past 5 months, he has embarked on gigantic projects. You can imagine a 41.15 kilometers road that cut across 5 local governments, dual carriage road with 6 bridges. You know? So you can imagine that kind of project. He has commissioned 2 hospitals already. He has set up others for commissioning. He's working on other areas, the agricultural sector. He's embarking on massive employment in the civil service. For the first time, after 10 years, civil servants have been promoted from the lower cadre up to the higher cadre. More young people have been brought into the civil service. So I don't see this rift helping the state in any way. So we should just focus on the act of governance, and which is very key and critical. The governor is a firm believer. He has told all of us that support him that we should work and support the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. He is very firm on that. All right, Mr. Marvin Yubana.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Marvin, you just pointed out now that Mr. Fubara is the governor. His Excellency is a very humble man. He's a very loyal party man. And he doesn't seem to be like a man who would actually foment any kind of trouble. But the narrative out there is that Wike is trying to control the politics of Rivers State despite not being governor. And you're actually aware that the governor currently right now has all the executive powers. How do you think there's going to be a balance if all of these issues continues to dangle?
Well, that is why I appeal to the Honorable Minister not to allow people to push him into getting into problem with his family. Because Fubara is a family, we are all family. If there's anybody that has erred, the Honorable Minister can call the person and we can discuss. I don't see any rift between Fubara and the Honorable Minister. But the governor has refused to use his powers because he knows it is a family affair. And he said it clearly that there's a little disagreement between father and son, which will be settled. And the president has firmly told them to go and work together. The Fubara I know is a very respectful and humble man. And he has listened to the president. He has not done anything different. He has not removed anybody. The civil service, the state civil service, just redeployed some senior officers, some members of the civil service. And people said it's politics. Removing the clerk of the assembly is politics. That is the sole responsibility of the Civil Service Commission. And these are civil servants. So they can be moved to any department to serve. And that is clear. So I don't understand where this whole issue is coming from. I know that the Honorable Minister, in his sober time, he will reflect. I know that there are rumor mongers and troublemakers that are trying to cause this problem. The governor has not done anything. There is no clear thing you can say, this is what the governor has done, that can warrant his attempted impeachment, which is unfair. This man was elected barely 6 months, and now look at what we are hearing and what we are seeing. And this man is focused on the act of governance. He is not disrespecting anybody. So I beg the leaders of the state to come together and resolve this crisis, because this crisis is not going to get us anywhere. We want to ensure that the 2 million votes in Rivers State is still given back to Mr. President after the 4 years if he recontests. So we want to be together as a family. We don't want to divide the house. And that is our appeal. And the governor is a very humble man, and he believes in this family that we already have, this political family. He doesn't want to destroy anything. The local government chairman, most of them are not listening to him. His commissioners are not listening to him. But he doesn't mind, because they only have one leader, which is the Minister for FCT. So if there are issues among let me call them his children, the minister should be able to call all of us or anybody who has run for to say, look, I don't like this. Let us do it this way. Let us do it this way. In a very respectful and peaceful manner, and there will be no rancor. So I don't see anything that we have to fight over. As I speak today, the House of Assembly is moribund because there's a court of competent jurisdiction that has barred the two factions from parading or taking any further steps. The last known speaker...
Well, I totally understand where you're coming from. Now, I am going to take, excerpts from what the interview he granted recently. Now, the minister actually did say that he told the governor that there are certain projects that will guarantee his second term. Now, we understand that when you actually try to put a modus operandi, you want to set it up for a particular governor who has just embarked, on his journey in office, there might be issues. Don't you think there's a case of you trying to tell me what to do, and I'm just into this office, I need to also create my own history and create my own legacy? Obviously, the minister wants this current governor to continue on the trajectory on where he stopped. What if there is a compromise with the agreement that is being, tossed around right now that is causing the crisis?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, there is no compromise. The governor has not reneged on any promise he made. The governor promised that he's going to ensure that his administration is people-oriented. His projects and policies will be people-driven, and he will ensure that there will be massive employment in the state. These are the things the governor has done for this past 5 months. Now, the projects that were ongoing, that he inherited, the governor has continued. He has not stopped any of them. They are still ongoing. Even this new ring road we are talking about was initiated by the past administration of Wike, and this governor carried it on and flagged it off, and even made a deposit. The governor has continued with everything the former governor left behind. He has not changed. Even his chief of staff, even his SSG, everybody working with him, what we all know, was nominated by the minister. And yet, apart from the commissioner from the governor's local government, you see, this governor is a very humble and loyal person. I don't think that Wike can find any other person as loyal as Fubara. Fubara is very, very humble and loyal to the core. And I think that is his fault. Because that loyalty, people have misconstrued him for being weak. He is very respectful. That is the kind of governor we have in Rivers State. So we want to appeal.
Mr. Mabiyobana, I wanted to chip in this before you go, okay? Yeah. I wanted to chip in this before you go. Now, the accusation out there right now is the fact that Nyesom Wike is too brash in his approach in trying to actually settle whatever chaos that is out there right now, because granting all these interviews and all these chit-chats can aggravate the issue. Do you suggest another approach for the minister to adopt in creating a more saner climate or saner atmosphere for this whole thing to blow off?
Yes, definitely. The minister, our national leader, knows that he is working as a federal minister under the President Tinubu administration. And this is not a time for distraction for Mr. President. Mr. President made a very bad economy, a very bad security situation. He made a very bad situation, which he is trying to salvage. The president is busy going from one place, talking to investors, going from one, soliciting for support for Nigeria. The minister for FCT should be seen as supporting the president to succeed and not creating any confusion in Rivers State. Because, you see, when we start having confusion here and there, it will not allow the president to be focused on the act of governance. And these precarious times we have, very trying times, the president has a lot on his table. And the president, as a father, had called both of them together and said, look, let there be peace. I think that peace should be sustained and maintained. I will appeal to the minister that whatever is his grievances, he should just slow down a little bit and just treat everybody as a child, so that he can now call us together, resolve whatever issues are there. If there are any grievances, if there are any issues that he really wants to be resolved, he will say it, and it can be resolved. It's not by the media, it's not by these people who are trying to incite him and by saying one thing or the other. Everybody there is working with the minister. So I don't see where this rancor is coming from. The minister is from PDP, the governor is PDP, it's the same political structure. I was the director NGO for the state campaign.
All right.
I was the director NGO, and I was nominated by the honorable minister. Then he was governor. So I don't see a problem. I am from Ogoni extraction. The governor is from my senatorial district. He is an Ijaw extraction. The minister is Ikwere. But if you look at the demographics now, political demographics in Rivers State, is tilting to one local government. And that,
Mr. Mabiyobana, I think we are actually running out of time now. I want to say thank you so much for your time, actually. Well, that was Mr. Mabiyobana. Thank you so much for your thoughts, and we hope and pray that when next we invite you, you'll be here for us as usual. But thank you so much for your thoughts so far. All right, that was Marvin Yubane, Political Affairs
Thank you very much, and thank you for the job you're doing.
of World Assembly for Youth, joining me from Abuja. Now,